I don't watch movies very often. Normally I try to find movies that are actually good, actually somewhat interesting to watch them, because I don't have so much free time, and if I do spend my free time on movies, I prefer them to be somewhat good. And since I enjoyed Knives Out very much, I love that movie, I thought second part, second chapter, whatever, it would be good too. It shall be great. Why not watch it too? And to be honest with you, I enjoyed it. I really liked it. I like this Glass Onion, Knives Out mystery, or whatever the name is. I like that movie a lot. To be even more honest with you, I do like the first part better. I'm not completely sure why. I think because of the ending, I liked it in the first part better, or I liked different ideas in the first part better, but second part, very good, in my personal opinion. If you also watched the movie, please leave a comment below whether you liked it or didn't like it, or what not. What I want to talk about Glass Onion. It is a very interesting concept that I didn't know exists prior to watching the movie, but what I think is very interesting, and it is something that a lot of people are a part of. I will do my best to avoid spoilers, but if you haven't watched the movie and you think that I can spoil it to you for a bit, just drop this video for now, come back later. Because the principle of Glass Onion is a key principle of that movie overall. So if I will share with you the principle of Glass Onion, you will maybe spoiled about the movie. So yeah, be careful, I told you about that, let's go. But before we begin, I obviously have to tell you that this is Yury Experience, and here I share my various experiences about different topics. I do one video per week, Mondays, and if you want, you can subscribe to the channel, you can leave the comment, you can leave a like, do whatever you want, complete freedom, whatnot. Yeah, let's begin. If you didn't know it, and I assume you didn't, as long as you are not a big Beatles fan, this Glass Onion principle comes from one of the songs from the Beatles. During their career, the Beatles created a lot of great songs. A lot of songs with deep meaning and whatnot. I'm personally not a huge fan of them, but even I know a hell lot of their songs, because even now they're kinda cool, interesting, and make sense for our current society. And one of their songs was called Glass Onion. The name comes from this concept of the onion that has a lot of layers, but all of them are glass, and you can actually see what's inside. You know what is inside, but you think that there's more to it. You try to catch every layer and to understand what every layer means, just to find pretty much nothing in the middle, which you saw at the very beginning. There was this glass is see-through in most of the situations. The Beatles songs were overanalyzed by their fans, and they decided to write this song which actually doesn't make sense whatsoever. The Glass Onion song, I suggest you just reading the text of it, it doesn't make sense. But if you want to find one, you will be able to do it. If you want to search for these layers of information that actually doesn't exist, you will be able to do it. And the song was kinda critique of the concept. I find this idea great. It was used in the movie Glass Onion. I will not tell you more about that, but it was used hugely in the movie. But also the overall concept of overthinking, overanalyzing, it's something that a hell lot of people do. And there are two things that we forget a lot when we interact with other people, when we interact with society. Thing number one, people don't think as much as we think they think. Yes, I said the word think way too much, but I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes we do something and we consider it maybe stupid, ugly, maybe something else, and we think that other people think that we are now stupid because we did it, because we did something. We think that our small error led to a lot of thinking on the receiving side. Another person analyzed each of our words, each of our movements, and understood that we are disastrous, bad human person people. But the other person actually didn't catch on anything of it. That person didn't even recognize that you did an error. That person didn't think about it pretty much at all. You thought that that person thought, but that person didn't. It also works in a different direction. Sometimes we think that we are clear with our suggestions, we are clear with our intentions. How often it happened to you that you try to communicate what you are doing, you try to communicate what you are feeling even maybe, you try to do something in order to show how you feel, and you think another person catched it, another person understood what is happening, but that person didn't, just didn't. You communicated not clear enough, you communicated in a wrong way, you did something that the person didn't even recognize as like proof of emotion, proof of intention. That person was like, yes, he gives me like piece of chocolate. Nice, good friend. We think that other people put same amount of thinking in everything as we do. But other people have different priorities. Maybe they do put a lot of thinking in things, but not in everything. Not in everything what you find important. And that leads me to the second thing that I find we forget a lot. Other people have different priorities. Other people are different in their life, are different in their approach to life, are different in pretty much everything. And this idea of other people are different is a pretty broad spectrum. Some of the people just don't find same things important as you do. Some people just have different priorities. You find flowers important and that person finds geology and stones important. You are a big fan of movie adaptations and that person is a huge fan of the books that these movie adaptations are about. But that is only one part of the spectrum. Some people are just stupid. They are not able to comprehend stuff in the same way as you do. And it's not always their fault. It may be fault of the upbringing, of the education, of the prior experience. But some people are just not being able to comprehend the information in the same way as you do. I want to state it because it is important. It doesn't make them bad people, per definition. They're just not as far as in their I don't know, head capabilities, but they're not bad people. They can be, but they not always are. Another part of the spectrum that we forget about a lot, people who just don't overthink stuff. People who just do. And if you say them something, they will understand it, comprehend it, remember it, and that's all. They just memorize, they don't theorize. They just do and don't think a hell lot of time prior to it. Maybe a little bit, but not for hours. But some of us do it and we think that that person also does it. That person overthinks things because I overthink things, but that person doesn't. That person just, okay, then I will do it and does it. Pretty much it. In the end, I will tell you something that actually was the main thing in the movie too. Be careful with your assumptions. Don't put ideas in other people's heads. So not that you push this idea, psychological tricks and whatnot, but don't think that other people think in some specific way. Don't think that other people have some specific ideas. Because they don't necessarily have to. They don't necessarily are like that. They are not necessarily as you think they are. Point. People are different. There are no two completely same human beings in the world. So the best thing that we can do is to communicate, is to speak with each other, is try to explain each other what we are actually thinking about. And whether we are thinking, maybe we don't think about stuff. And that can lead, doesn't necessarily have to, but that can lead to understanding that a lot of people don't think that much. And it's not a bad thing. I personally think it is rather a good thing, but a lot of people don't overthink. Some do, but some people are just really straightforward, or really one idea and go for it. Not one idea, other idea, third idea, and maybe some complex plan about world domination. No. Some people just want to go to eat, go to work, then maybe hit a gym in the evening and go to sleep. And that is the one and only idea that is in their head. And it is completely fine, at least in my personal opinion. But it also doesn't mean that you have to be like that. People are just different. That is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed it. If it is the case, please drop a like. You can also subscribe to the channel. You can also leave a comment and yeah, share your opinion about glassonion, about the concept of it, whatever. Have a great week. I see you next Monday.